In today's class, we are going to discuss the short questions and answers that can be asked from the poem. If you are aware of the paper style, from poem you will be asked short question and answers. Okay, from prose you will be asked long answers. So whenever we have learned prose, I have given you the long questions. Of course, I have not dictated any answer, but I have told you how to write their answers. From poem, you will be asked short questions. So I would request you all to keep a note of the questions that can be asked from both the poems. So I am going to give you the questions from Still I Rise and Sonnet 116. Uh, Still I Rise that we have seen recently, I should give you questions first from that poem only. So Still I Rise, the first question from the poem that can be asked is, what is the poem Still I Rise about? What is the poem Still I Rise about? So those who are writing, this would be even better. Don't be dependent on any of the notes that you get from any friend or any tuition classes or anyone else. Try and have your own material. Try and prepare your own answers. For that, you should be present in the class. So try and take running notes whenever I am telling you the answers. So the first question that I have given, what is the poem Still I Rise about? So the poem Still I Rise is about the poet's experience of overcoming racism, criticism, sexism, and personal obstacles in her life with grace and pride. So it is about overcoming oppression or cruelty with grace and pride, having no sympathy for the oppressor. Right? Second question: why is the phrase "I rise" repeated? Still I rise repeated. I repeat the question: why is the phrase "Still I rise" repeated in the poem? This same question can be asked in a different way. What is the structure of the poem? Or what tactic has the poet used? TACTIC. Tactic means strategy. You know, the poet uses various strategies, the various tactics to make this statement, more clear, to say whatever he has to say in a better way. So, what tactic does the poet use? So, here in this poem, this is, this can be called the structural element of the poem. The poem has this repetition. Repetition is one of the figures of speech. So in this figure of speech, there is one sentence or one line or one phrase that is repeated again and again. Whenever something is repeated again and again, that is something important. So here the poet repeats the line, I rise or I will rise, to emphasize the fact that whatever the circumstances might be, whatever the situation might be, however difficult the journey might be, and however cruel the oppressors might be, I am going to rise. Right? That is why the statement I rise has been repeated. Right? Now, what is the tone of the poem? See, tone is important because throughout the poem, Maya Angelou's defiant and triumphant, defiant, DEFIANT, defiant and triumphant, TRIUMPHANT, triumphant. Defiant is someone who defies everything else or everybody else, and triumphant is someone who triumphs all the problems. So Maya Angelou's defiant and triumphant tone has been seen in the poem. So the tone of the poem is defiant and triumphant. Or you can say it is self-reliant and bold. The tone is bold and self-reliant, right? It is bold because the poet does not care whoever the listener might be, whoever the oppressors might be. She doesn't care. That is why she says that, did you want to see me broken? Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard because I laugh like I've got gold mine? So these lines are actually suggestive of the bold and careless or carefree way or self-reliant way or tone in which the poet speaks, right? So the tone of the poem is important. Who is the speaker of the poem? Here, the speaker of the poem is a black woman. She's a strong African American woman. So you should write the answer. Who is the speaker of the poem? The speaker of the poem is a strong African American woman. And who is the same way you can be asked who is the poem addressed to? Who is the poem addressed to? So the poem is addressed to everyone who oppresses. The poem is addressed to everyone who tries to exploit the speaker. So here, everyone will everyone would include the whites, those males, those who try to stop her, those who try to defy her, those who try to subside her. So all those are oppressors here. So the listener of the poem, or the poem is addressed to everyone who tried to stop her, who tried to oppress her, who tried to exploit her. Right? The next question that can be asked is, you may shoot me with your words. What does the poet mean by this line? You may shoot me with your words. What does the poet mean by this line? Uh, the poet means to say that you may try to break me down, you may try to stop me, you may try to, uh, discourage me or discourage my spirit. You may try to break my morale by your words, by your language, right? So in this way, you can be asked any one line, and you have to describe that line. You have to explain that line. For that, you have to also refer to the context in which that line is used. The next is, why does Maya Angelou use the words history's shame and a past rooted in pain? Why does the writer use these words? History's shame and past rooted in pain, these are the words that represent the shame of slavery that African Americans felt. As we all know, the poem is directly having a reference to the Afro American people who had to live the life of slavery, because of the whites who tried to enslave them. And that is why they have this history of slavery, misery, and pain and hardship. So these words represent the shame of slavery that the African Americans had to feel. And these lines refer to the pains of slavery, misery, and hardship that the Afro Americans had to suffer from. So these are some of the questions that can be asked to you. So in the short questions, you have to write the answers in at least 3 to 4 lines, because often you are asked to explain some lines. So when you have to explain that line, it will take at least 4 lines, 3 to 4 lines. So don't try to complete your answer in one sentence or one word. Try and explain it properly. There are many sentences that can be asked to explain from this poem. For example, I am a black ocean, leaping and wide. Explain this line with reference to the poem Till I Rise. You can be asked the question like this. So, a black ocean means someone who is a symbol of all the African American people with a long line of history jumping over obstacles, right? Or you can be asked, uh, does my sassiness upset you? Where are you beset with gloom? Why are you beset with gloom? Why does the poet ask this question? Or what spirit of the poem or what spirit of the poet comes out of this line? So lively, bold, and a very courageous spirit of the poet comes from this line or from this word, stuffiness, right? So I hope these many questions are enough from this poem, Still I Rise. And we have also seen another poem, that is Sonnet 116. I am also going to give you questions from that poem. Sonnet 116. So what are the questions? So first question that can be asked, kindly take the notes, kindly take the question. First, what does the poem Sonnet 116 speak about? So what does the poem speak about? The poem speaks about the permanent or never changing nature of love. The poem Sonnet 116 speaks about the never changing nature of love, given by the poet William Shakespeare. You can be asked a question like, love is not love, which alters when it alteration finds. Love is not love, which alters when it alteration finds. What does the poet mean by this line? The answer can be, by this line, the poet wants to say that true love does not change, even if the circumstances might be such that it can change. So true love, the nature of the true love never changes, even though the circumstances are adverse. The circumstances are not good. Then another question from this poem is, what is the true love compared to? So the true love has been compared to an ever fixed mark, and the star, the guiding star, an ever fixed mark and the guiding star. Another question, does true love changes with change of time? According to author, no. According to the author, if the love is true, it does not change even if the time changes. Another question, what is the rhyme scheme of the poem? So the rhyme scheme of the poem is AB AB, CD CD, EF EF, GG. It is a Shakespearean sonnet, and the rhyme scheme of the poem is AB AB, CD CD, EF EF, GG, and this we have understood when we understood the poem. So I'm not going to explain this again. Then, is true love subject to change of time? Is true love subject to change of time? No, it is not subject to change of time. The same question can be asked in a different way, into inverted comma. Love is not time's fool. Love is not time's fool. What does the poet mean by this line? what does the poet mean by this line? Love is not time's tool. What does the poet mean by this line? According to the poet, love does not exist at the mercy of time. That means the true love does not change even if the time changes. So it is not something that occurs or that exists at the mercy of time. Last question, that I have taken note of is, why does the author show his own work as a proof of true love? Why does the author show his own work as a proof of true love? Because he himself has written so many tragedies and comedies and dramas and poems and sonnets. And he's so confident, he's so sure about the true love, about the nature of true love, that he's ready to even, uh, sacrifice. I mean, he's ready to put his entire work at stake. He's so sure of the true nature of love that he believes that if he's proven wrong, then he says that I never wrote and never did any man write, never did any man write in his life. So he's absolutely sure about the true love or the nature of the true love. Another question that can be asked is, why does the poet compare true love to a lighthouse? Why does the poet compare true love to a lighthouse? Because just the way a lighthouse gives light to the people who have lost their way in the difficult times, in the same way, love can give light to all those who are stuck in the difficult timing. Just like the lighthouse, it gives happiness. It soothes everyone who is stuck in the difficult and stormy situation. Uh, so I think these many questions from both the poems I have given, so that you can prepare your answers for both the poems. I think they are enough. And we have seen two lessons and two poems. So I have given even long questions from the two lessons, and I have also given short questions from poems. I am I'm very sure that those who attend the lectures regularly will not have any problem even if preparation for exam has to be done. Uh, so today I am going to start the third lesson, that is on saying please by A.G. Gardiner. For that, I have also shared the screen on saying please by A.G. Gardiner. before we actually start the lesson, let us have some discussion about the writer. A.G. Gardiner is the short form of the writer's name, that is Alfred George Gardiner. I will spell the word Alfred, Alfred, George, Gardiner, sorry, George, and Gardiner. Gardiner. Alfred George Gardiner was a British journalist and author. I would request the students to take notes of the important points. Alfred George Gardiner was the author. His essays were written under the pen name Alpha of the Plough, ALPHA, Alpha of the PLOUGH, Alpha of the Plough. So this is the pen name of the author, A.G. Gardiner. Uh, and under this pen name he has written essays, and his essays are regarded highly. He was born in Chelmsford, UK. As a boy, he worked at the Chelmsford Chronicle and Bournemouth Directory. He joined the Northern Daily Telegraph in 1887. In 1899, he was appointed editor of the Blackburn Weekly Telegraph. Gardiner was editor of the Daily News from 1902 to 15. Under his direction, it became one of the leading liberal journals of its day, acting as a counterbalance to the conservative Daily Mail. From 1915, he contributed to the Star under the pseudonym Alpha of the Plough. His essays are uniformly elegant, graceful, and humorous. His uniqueness lays in his ability to teach the basic truths of life in an easy and amusing manner. The pillars of society, pebbles on the shore, many furrows and leaves in the wind are some of his best known writings. So A.G. Gardiner wrote under the pen name of Alpha of the Plough. You can be asked this point in the MCQ. Now, about the essay. The essay tells us the great value of politeness and the fact that the rude people are looked down upon by the society in an easy and humorous manner. So, the best and the most important quality of A.G. Gardiner and his essays was that his essays were fluent, they were elegant, they were graceful, and they are humorous. So everything that he wants to say, or that everything that he wants to state, he makes it clear with the help of a touch of humor. So he would not become very strict or very severe, very harsh at any point. In fact, he would very humorously, in a very funny way, he would try to make his points clear in an easy and spontaneous and humorous manner. And the very great value of politeness and its importance in our life, and how society needs it so much. These are the things that he tries to emphasize in his essay. This essay talks about the value of good manners. The author points out that bad manners are antisocial even if they are not considered criminal in the eyes of the law. So, according to the author, there are some people who try to be bad, who try to play with her, who try to cheat, who try to do the things in their way. According to the author, according to A.G. Gardiner, they might not be criminal in the eyes of the law. That means they will not be punished by the law, but still the fact would remain that they actually are antisocial. Even if you don't break the law, even if you don't break the law, you still can be antisocial. Even by thinking ill of someone, you become antisocial. That's what he means to say. The author has very aptly commented on good and bad manners as being contagious, infectious. Means even if someone is good, the others around him also would be good. If someone is bad, the others around him will automatically behave badly in a very bad manner with him. So it is contagious. If bad manners of one person influence others and make them rude and ill-tempered, good manners of one person also affect others and make them be polite and kind in return. So he believes that we should try to be good to people so that they can be good to us. So with a simple example of a humble bus conductor, Gardiner brings home the fact that having a good nature and being civil goes a long way in making life that much better and sweet. Uh, so he gives an example of bus conductor in this essay. And in that example, in giving that example, he again tries to emphasize the fact that we should not forget that only if we are good to others, only if we are polite to others, others will try to be polite to us. So before we actually start this essay, there is this one small thing that I am, it's a kind of assignment. I have assigned this work to you. Try and write an incident in which you tried to be good to others, even if someone was not good, even if someone behaved very badly in a very rude manner, uh, you tried to be good. So write an essay on this. Write an essay on I mean, write kind of 2 3 paragraphs on this one incident in which you tried to be good to others. In short, I want to ask you, what is the importance of good manners in our life? Do you believe that good manners are required? Do you feel we should try to be good to others? Or do you believe that we should decide whether to be good to others or not by looking at that person? I mean, there are some people who, who are good to some, who are bad to others. So do you believe we should change ourselves as per the opposite person changes? Do you feel that, in short, you should think and understand and try to kind of assimilate your thoughts on the importance of good manners in your life, in everyone's life, and try to make a note of, I mean, try to make a kind of essay, or you can say that you can give the heading to that essay, importance of good manners in our life. Uh, the essay, I think I should start in the next class. I think we should start the essay in the next class.